Hello, YouTube. This is the Galley La Podcast, and today we are going to be reviewing One Piece Manga Chapter 1177, Furious. I am Akainu Fanboy, the other guy, Geboss. Please like and subscribe, leave your thoughts below and your thoughts on our video and the thoughts on our review. So we have a cover story with Robin, reader requests, Robin planting flowers in a bed dug up by moles. So obviously this is a callback to Alabasta.
Sure.
Now, moving forward, we get to the good stuff right here. So we get to see more of the fights breaking out with the Domi Reversi Giants, and I know this kind of got into an interesting power scaling dispute on some people online where Dory has his shield destroyed by Domi Reversi Giant and everything, but he was able to fend off one of the Gorosei basically with that same shield.
Oh,
so they're like, what is it, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
This is like a random fodder giant, but you can say he's under Domi Reversi, so he's stronger. But to be fair, in terms of strength, Oda's always emphasized the giants are strong.
Yeah, and if you think about it, like a giant going up against another giant, rather than just the elders in their mythical Zoan forms.
Yeah, this is someone like me. I've always kind of, lowballed the course too, So, yeah, I've not been like a super big fan in terms of power. So that's just kind of what I'm coming from with it.
Yeah. But I did like how Colin, who's kind of a fanboy of the warrior side of the Giants, kind of just, they're trying to carrying him away, but he wants to stay and watch him fight.
Yeah,
I do like that character beat.
They have brought in good characterization with the Giants and everything like that too, And we go back to one of the goats, Chopper, and he's here with Scopper. And so they're trying to hold off these Domi Reversi Giants right here, and Bragi comes in to help out and everything too, which is kind of interesting. And then we have Haruden too, so we get some good attacks, some good combat panels right here moving in, and Zoro's doing his thing. So are you at a place right now where, again, this is too easy, or do you think this is like fine?
I was gonna say that these are Domi Reversi Giants, like you said. Like, if they're shattering shields that the Gorosei couldn't, they're getting taken out a little too easily by regular giants. And Zoro.
Zoro, I can buy, but like the others, not as much. Like Bragi, fine, but like, the no-name giants, I'm like, eh.
Yeah, I mean, they're not no-name, but I mean, we'll get to there's a Frankie line in this that I'm just like, I feel like Oda's trying to wave away like some of the power scaling stuff, but yeah, it feels a little too easy because we saw maybe it was just Rox who was so powerful being taken over by Domi Reversi, and him versus Garp and Roger. We have that precedent compared to this where they're just kind of being fodderized.
Yeah. Right, and when you start to get to this next section right here too, I mean, even Chopper is putting in some work, it's like,
there's theories about this, but I don't know. I'll be curious to see what the explanation of this is, because he just hits them and it's not like they're even hurt and they get on Domi Reversi'd, so
well, like I said, I still have my issues with why didn't Herald, getting ripped apart by Loki get deactivated? But maybe there's a difference again between Domi Reversi and the distinction you brought up about being a full-fledged God's Knight with the curse mark and all that.
Yeah, but yeah, I did see people saying that because Chopper may not have like some sort of it can't be just the human fruit, because we've seen different models of it. It has to be some different model that he has that allows him to be like this, that would be able to like purify Domi-Reversi people. So I don't know, we'll see what it is. But also I'm just looking at the panel here. Was his monster point always that big, where he was almost as big as, like, he's bigger than Kashi in that panel?
Yeah, I think they really were the scales off, because there's no way he was giant size on Eni's lobby.
Yeah,
because it would have like broken the balcony that he was on.
Yeah,
you know, with Frankie. Yeah.
But
so, do you want to just go to Killingham?
Yeah. Speaking of things being too easy,
Sanji's a goat, and I will always heap praise upon my boy, and he is strong for a reason. And I will rank Killingham over Domi-Reversi Giants, because like if Chopper can take down Domi-Reversi Giant, I mean, they're not impressive, you know.
Yeah.
And Zoro was slightly struggling with Domi-Reversi Giants, while Sanji effortlessly took out the God's Knights here. I will say this kind of goes back to my critique, where I wished Oda just developed CP0 more over the God's Knights, and I think CP0 has done a far more impressive showing. I would have a harder time seeing Sanji doing this to Kaku. I think that's a fair analogy right there. You know, like Zoro, there's more of an extended clash with Zoro and Kaku. Actually, yeah, because Zoro didn't even take down Kaku. The Stussy took down Kaku.
Yeah.
Lucci did way better against a Gear 5 Luffy than what Killingham did against Sanji. You know? These guys are not impressive, and I would just rank, in terms of power, CP0 way above.
I mean,
the God sides, you know.
Sanji literally says, so these are the knights who protect the Holy Land.
Yeah.
And
this is like, oh, sorry, yeah.
But Frankie, this is the thing that Frankie says that I was like, I don't buy it. He said, oh, I think we got too strong. Luffy's an emperor now. Just because he's an emperor doesn't necessarily mean that you all powered up.
Only Zoro and Sanji that would apply to, not the rest.
Yeah. So,
because we've been seeing the others put in the work, you know.
Yeah.
Like with the Gorosei and Kizaru in the last arc, and Lucci, the others have not been doing that. You know. I will say this is a further downgrade on the Revolutionaries, because the Revolutionaries are struggling against these clowns. Then this is a further indication that the Revolutionaries are clowns.
Yeah, I mean, they literally just like basically one-shot Killingham and tore up his body, and now he can't regenerate. So
yeah.
So much for what we thought about like Conqueror's Haki being the key to defeating the God's Knights.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they still needed for the Gunko Emu formation, right? Maybe that's like still a possibility, but it's just like, this is just greatly unimpressive. This is terrible. You know, like look, Straw Hats are strong, don't get me wrong, but like, you introduce a group of guys and they got Anbu Black Bomb, you know. Basically. They were just here as hype tools. That's what these people were here for, you know. Like I said, every feed from Cypherpool Zero is just so much greater. Like even I forget that they gave the name after the fact, but the masked agent that was able to hold down Luffy, speed blitz him so Kaido can take him, and he like killed Izo, and he greatly injured X-Drake. Like those are like significant feats from a nameless character, and we know these people, and look how trash they are, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Killingham made all the sleep monsters, but they're getting taken out by the giants and everything, and that's more his power than like him as a fighter, you know.
But do you think Summers is greatly impressive?
Summers is a piece of shit. I just like watching him, but I mean, he did survive multiple encounters with like Rayleigh and Scopper, so he's a little bit more impressive. Unless we're saying like at this point, Sanji, who was the one that took down Killingham, is like on par with prime Rayleigh and Scopper. You know.
I mean, look, I'm not against that agenda, but like it's I will say that was like a neg diff for Sanji.
Yeah, Sanji's not even gassed.
No, I mean he did use like Ifrit Jambe, so that is a strong attack. But like, look, if we're saying you need conquerors, you know, to take down the Gods Knights, there's a possibility that Ifrit Jambe utilized it to some extent. I'm just saying.
Well, I think that's means to like permanently damage them.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's fair. Yeah. Obviously, it did the job, you know, and it is kind of funny how like just Sanji and Frankie are talking crap, and you know, then we have Zeus here too. I don't know. It's just going back to the too easy thing. I don't know, like. Who else did they have at this point, right? Just like...
Well, it looks like just like Gunko and Emu, but we'll see at the end of this chapter that we're already getting a confrontation with Loki and Luffy, so...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was funny with the Loki, the gag there and the squirrel. I thought that was pretty funny. That was like all really good stuff right there.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Then...
I'm always a fan of the Nami freak out things, because she scares... even Luffy and everyone.
Loki, and I know I've been asking this question every chapter. Do you think Big Mom's coming back?
At this point, I don't see the point. Like, I don't see that how she would fit into the story, unless it's another wild card, or if she's gonna show up after all this to get revenge or something, and then Shank shows up and one-shots her.
Yeah, I just I don't know, really. I just when I see Zeus still activated, and we've gotten some indications of her in this arc, but I narratively I don't see. I will say, moving to this next section though, Brook. We have Brook here, and then we have Usopp that randomly came in. What are your thoughts here?
I wish we had seen, like in the last chapter, like saying, like, Usopp just saying, oh, I gotta go see what's going on with Brook.
Yeah.
Or something, because, like you said, he just kind of shows up here.
Because Usopp usually has big grand entrances, you know? And it's like, that didn't happen here, and I'm just like, what's going on? And I think there is something epic to see Usopp and Brook, you know, going against these guys, you know, and I think it's cool to see. And I think it's a great motivation for Luffy to see that, because it pisses him off. And it's rare that we get an angry Gear 5 too. It'll be interesting to see the power level here from a Luffy and a Loki going against a Gunko. Yeah, because Loki was able to defeat his father, who wasn't... Okay, so was his father possessed in the same capacity as Gunko here? Would you say that?
No. Oh, was he... I'm trying to remember if he was directly possessed or not. I think he was directly possessed. He wasn't Domi Reversing. So yes, I think
because if he was Domi Reversing, he would have turned back already.
Yeah, or he was influenced through his tattoo.
But I think that's effectively the same thing what's happening to Gunko right here.
Well,
because Gunko tried to break free like Harel did. With Brook, and then he overrode her.
So I would say, if you've ever played Mass Effect, there's a enemy in there that assumes direct control. Like it's kind of like the big boss thing assumes direct control of its pawn versus other people who are kind of like indoctrinated and change their personalities to benefit the person, like the hive mind type of thing. So I feel that Harald was more like indoctrinated type of thing, because he had like his worst characteristics amplified, whereas Gunko's getting taken over directly by Emu. So, but yeah, I'm curious to see what this is gonna be like, because like Loki is already so OP. So do you think that Loki is stronger than Luffy at this point? That's a big question.
No. I just think Luffy's Devil Fruit is so broken, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a weird thing. Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, I don't know if I'd take a hard position. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to say, really. I will say, though, you might roll your eyes, but I think Loki and Luffy being this powerful at this point of the story is going to lead to the upgrade of, like, all the remaining high tiers in the series, basically. So, just to, like, not make it seem like a disappointment, because contrary to the God's Knights who've just been introduced, hyped up here and humiliated, I don't think Oda's going to do that for the remaining high tier Marines, and then the remaining Yonko, basically. You know, so I think their power is going to be pretty insane, actually.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Just in terms of like suspense and dramatic tension and things like that, you know.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be hard to see Kobe kind of do that, but he did do Honesty Impact, but my thoughts on it, I think they're kind of equal, like Loki and Luffy at this point. But yeah, I'm curious to see if the next chapter is just going to go straight into the fight with this, or there's going to be some sort of not exposition, but explanation, or a little bit of a lore drop about the history with Joy Boy and maybe Needhogger.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Yeah, because Emu's definitely after something.
I do have another question for you, though.
Yeah.
Or two questions. Okay. One, do you think... How can I say this? Sorry. So do you think the admirals are going to be the strongest forces on the world government side at this point in time? Like, just like more than the Gorosei, more than the Holy Knights. Do you think they're going to be like the strongest, like last final tier on that side?
It's like, are we excluding like Emu?
Yeah.
Okay.
I put a little asterisk next to Akainu, but that's just me. So, but yeah.
So if we're excluding, are we excluding the elders? See, that's the issue.
Yeah, I would throw the elders in there too, because like I think, for me, I just don't think the elders were impressive too.
Yeah.
And
that's the problem, because we had the elders in Egghead. It was cool and everything, but it kind of lessens their overall menacing, like their menace within the story, because we've seen them be outsmarted. Although, if it wasn't
go all out,
if it wasn't for Joy Boy's hockey, I feel like they would have been in a much harder situation. So
yeah, well, it's their second L, right? Because they let Sabo escape too.
Yeah, and Wapple and Vivi.
Yeah, like huge L, like in their own territory, And we've used this analogy before. Imagine the 5 admirals: Green Bull, Fuji, Akainu, Kizaru, or Kuzan.
And Aokiji.
Yeah, so like imagine. Do you think Sabo's getting out of that? with those 5 in there.
Yeah.
And then also, do you think Luffy's surviving Egghead with those 5 against him? You know, like that's just kind of like a good little alternative thing right there, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point, but I think they would definitely be up there with the elders, if not a little bit better, because they're meant for fighting. Like, they're used to fighting. I feel like the elders necessarily aren't, rather than I would say Nusturo with his swordsmanship skills.
Yeah. I do think their fruits are a lot stronger too.
I mean, people say because Kaido and Big Mom got dissolved in lava.
Yeah, I mean,
upscales Akainu.
It does. Okay, now second question: with Shamrock, bum or Shanks tier?
A little bit under Shanks tier, I feel. Like, I
Admiral
feel
level or below?
Probably Admiral level. I feel. Just my gut feeling. Because I feel
I'm gonna
like
put him below just because the others suck so much, but that's just me.
I feel that the Oda wouldn't have introduced him without him being as much of a threat for the other side. Because the way that I look at it, if he was setting up Shanks to be evil, like, he would have to be powerful. And if in creating Shamrock, you have to have someone equal to that threat level.
I mean, you can say the same with Garling, but Garling got humiliated.
Yeah, but Garling's old and slow. He's
but actually old and slow.
Yeah,
like Garb, right? No, but even a young Garling, like, they hyped him up quite a bit, and he just got humiliated. You know,
that's true.
And he was there with all of his other knights too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, mine Summers, but like, I don't know. Like, I can see him just being humiliated in this arc, to be honest. Like, because just the quality of all the other knights has been so horrific. You know.
Yeah. It's a weird arc, just in terms of the, like, who these villains are supposed to be in the world compared to what they're showing.
Yeah, that's just like, oh, sorry, yeah.
Because I was gonna say they're more like devil fruit trickery reliant, based on straight up fighting that we've seen.
Yeah, and for sure. Because some people speculated these guys were going to be stronger in Cypher Pull, which I argue they aren't, to be honest. They were going to even be up to Admiral level, you know? And I'm like, because they were, you know, mentioned in the same breath. You have the God's Knights here, you have the Admirals, you have the Revolutionaries. And these guys the Admirals would one-shot these people.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. Like, you think Killingham's gonna fare much better against the others? You know, like this. Like,
yeah,
all of them are getting bodied. You know.
Yeah. Even if people downplay Sanji one-shot these guys, which would make them look even worse.
Yeah. And like, you don't think the others can just like blitz them and just obliterate them like nothing? You know, like, I don't know how their regen ability is gonna do against lava. I'll just say that much. You know, like, so, and I think, like, as a result, and I'm not fanboy, I'm just trying to, like, look at the 2020 view. I do think the Yonko and the Admirals, and maybe to an extent the Revolutionaries, because they were introduced earlier too, but not as much, but those were the 3 great powers for the Yonkos, the Shishibukai, you know, and the Admirals, you know, and I think these newer factions are just not going to, they're not going to keep up, I guess, for the end game.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, it'll be interesting to see next week what what all this is gonna pan out to. But
yeah, for sure. Yeah, so it's been a little rumbly. I think the quality of the art's gone down a little bit. Not like bad, but just a little bit.
Yeah,
I will say that.
yeah, and who knows? Maybe Oda's gonna pull an Uno reverse, because there is the thing that Killingham says. He said, he's like, "That's right. Keep overlooking us." To them. So who knows if they're gonna do something that's gonna it's gonna
They're all talk.
reverse everything.
They're all talk, bro. That's where I'm at. They're all a cap.
I'm just saying, Oda has set it up. If he's gonna pay it off, I don't know, or if I'm reading too much into it.
Yeah.
But
Garling thought he had the stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say out of everyone, Garling's the biggest fraud.
Yeah, no, I mean, like they are just jokes, and like I would put them below every supernova.
I think that's a little much. I'd have to look at it more. We have a few months to mull it over for our power rankings.
A Rouge would come out of the sky, body Shamrock, one shot, dead.
Yeah,
that's what would happen.
Where's our Arouge?
He's coming, bro. He's coming, bro.
It's gonna drop out of the sky.
He's gonna have a bloody Shamrock and just like ragdoll him and throw him across and be like, "Luffy, I challenge you to a duel." That's what's gonna happen.
I think it would be funny if he joined the God's Knights. But
he's too good for that, dude. He's gonna join Buggy's crew. He has too much potential.
Yeah, he's the only supernova that we haven't had like in a major arc.
No, yeah,
but
it's just him. He's the last one.
Yeah, but just final thought. I did like the Usopp moment in this. It's good to see him actually do something.
Yeah,
but I wish he did a little bit more, because he's just getting kind of clowned on. But he needs he needs to be like Stampede level, where he's supporting Luffy during this fight with his sniping skills.
That'd be really good. I would love to see that. I just wish he had some training and more interaction with the heritage of Elbaf before he did all this. But at least he's doing something right now, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean, he's just doing his normal, like, oh, the warriors of Elbaf have pride, and we fight each other head on, and you're using all these tricks, and yada, yada, yada. I feel like we've seen it before.
Yeah.
From him.
For sure. Yeah. So step in the right direction. So that's good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, please like and subscribe. Leave your thoughts below on this review and thoughts on this chapter, and we'll see you guys soon. Peace.
See ya.